Welcome to Career Deep Dive, the podcast exploring real careers and the stories that shape them. Now, let's dive in.
Welcome to the Career Deep Dive. Today we have our special guest, Todd Dekay. He is the government relations. Hey, welcome. Thank you for coming here.
Glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Sir Justin.
Awesome. Well, Todd, let us know a little bit about yourself, about where you come from and, your job experience.
Gotcha. Well, I'll start off. I'll go back a few ways. I'm originally from upstate New York. My father was a World War II veteran, and literally after World War II, they sent him out to New Mexico because he caught rheumatic fever in the Pacific, and they sent him up to Albuquerque, and he went back to New York after he was there for a few years. And when he retired, we moved to New Mexico. I went to high school in Roswell, and didn't think I'd be back in this area. I came back in about 1999, and I've had a variety of jobs over the years. Currently, as you mentioned, I'm the government relations officer for the system, and this is sort of a position that I saw opened up. Prior to this, I was the vice president for operations at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, and I was there for over 20 years in a variety of roles. The government relations officer position intrigued me. I'm sort of on the back end of my career, the tail end of it. And I just thought it would be an opportunity for me to reach out to legislators, reach out to others, and try to have a little broader impact than I had as vice president for operations in Roswell. I've had a variety. Somebody once called me a Swiss Army knife type of employee, and I kind of like that comparison. I've had a variety of roles. I literally came into education. I was in the Job Corps system originally. I started out as a reading instructor.
Oh, wow.
And I come from a family of educators. My mom was an English teacher. One of her sisters was an English teacher. Another one was an English professor. And education, I've always valued it. In the Job Corps system, I had a variety of roles, from academic manager, vocational manager, teacher, career prep, computers, GED. And I cut my teeth in the Job Corps program in many ways. Educationally, through the years, my plans weren't always, I'm going to connect one dot to the other and end up where I am. I went to ENMU. I'm a proud graduate of Eastern New Mexico University. I did my bachelor's degrees here. Texas Tech, I have a master's degree there. And I also have another master's degree from Eastern New Mexico. Education opens doors. And it's literally, it's just not just about a career. It's about, it does change your life. It opens you up. Sometimes you're taking classes in education and you're like wondering, well, why do I have to know this? Or why are you making me learn this? Well, a lot of the time you don't know at the time you're taking a class when you're going to need
leading
it.
to.
And maybe 5 years, 10 years, sometimes you're going, oh, now I know why. So that's kind of a really broad, in my current role, I work with the legislators, I work with the chancellor, I work with the business office. Nutshell, my goal is to improve outcomes for students and for everyone that works here, including the community. As ENMU grows, the community grows as well. And I think the one position I have to mention, that I was an adult education director at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, and I thoroughly enjoyed that program. I got to work with a lot of different groups. I had the opportunity to work with the International Law Enforcement Academy, and that we had delegates come from all over the world, and I just had a chance to see perspectives from a lot of different people. So that's kind of a rambling background history.
I know.
I'm not sure. I'm left-handed. I'm a Gemini. I think humor is incredibly important. And not taking yourself too seriously is really important. And I'm ready for some questions.
So you spent nearly 2 decades in roles that blend education, community impact, and public service. What personal experience shaped that commitment?
I think education changed my life in so many ways. And I was fortunate enough to have parents, my mother especially, who taught me the value of reading and literacy. And I mean, it's just a gift that'll change your whole life. I mean, in your formative years, you're learning to read, and then you're reading to learn. But having, I think that commitment, I was always frustrated too with inequity in society, more along the lines of rich, poor related than anything else. And I've always thought, and I've seen it in action, I've seen the impact of education. Let me just relate one quick story. Once upon a time, this was when I was in adult education, I had a truck driver come in, and he was probably 42, 43 years old. And he didn't have a high school diploma, and he came in, and, we do something called the test of adult basic education, and he took this test, and then after the students take the test, they sit down with an advisor, and we split up this stuff, and he just happened to come into my office in my director role. And I'm going over his scores with him, and he did really, really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're ready to test. And this gentleman just couldn't believe it. He's like, well, what do you mean I'm ready? I never did well in school, and, I dropped out. And, I mean, he really didn't have a high opinion of his educational abilities.
Absolutely.
Well, the gentleman, went and took the GED test at the time, got a GED right away. Went on to get an associate degree, went on to a bachelor's degree, and it changed his life.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievably. And it not only will change his life, but it'll change his family's life.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of the time, if the parent gets it and values the education, the kids will value it, and their kids will value it. It has a trickle-down effect for generations. And education, it's not just about learning in the schools. It's about learning overall. And most learning happens outside of the classroom. And I think one of my strengths is I am a self-learner.
Yeah.
I like to learn things. I like to find out when I'm wrong about things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a discovery in itself. Like right now, Sir Justin, and the same thing with me, there's ideas in our head that we think are correct, but they're not correct.
Right.
We just don't know they're incorrect. So, and that has to do with biases and other things. And I look at life as, I just think humans have unbelievable potential. I sort of have a Star Trek philosophy.
Yeah.
I believe it's our role as humans to kind of work together and boldly go and discover things.
So, like, kind of going a little bit back. So, like, what did you go to school for when you were in? I was like, when you went to UNM in Eastern.
I didn't know what I wanted. All right, I really didn't. I started out as a pre-med, like a whole bunch of people.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
But
Wow.
Really, I was ill prepared.
Yeah.
All right. I moved to Roswell from New York, Kansas City to Roswell, and I was really ahead a little ways. All right, but I didn't jump ahead. Okay, I kind of rested on my laurels, and I played a bunch of sports, which I really enjoyed, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity in Kansas City. I was in a smaller school in Roswell. I got a degree in history. I was double major, history and political science, and I've got another master's in history from Texas Tech with an emphasis on science and technology. That was my focus. I've always been fascinated with science and technology. And my master's thesis was on high-level radioactive waste disposal.
Oh,
okay?
wow.
Well, that doesn't come up very often, but it's been helpful in so many ways. I've always been interested in energy issues. In fact, this year, during the legislative session, one of the two areas that they're going to be pushing forward with some initiatives in New Mexico are fusion technology and quantum computing. And I think some things also help give me perspective on stuff. History, it kind of shows me that there's patterns and to seek for patterns. Political science, I've found that, that also, I've always been fascinated with how societies move and how they improve. I also have a degree in education, a master's in that, and I had a teacher's license at one point and everything else. And I've gone through a lot of, what do they call it? Pedagogy training and assessment training. For many years, Susan Balch-Lindsay and I, Dr. We actually had the same professor at Texas Tech.
Really?
Yeah, and this person had an impact on our lives. And historians like facts. And for many years in Roswell, I worked at the the executive director of institutional effectiveness. I oversaw assessment, and I oversaw institutional research, and I did a lot of those reportings. And I like facts.
Yeah.
I love data, and I like spreadsheets, and I can really nerd out on some of that stuff as well.
I'm gonna need some tips from you.
Yeah,
Working with spreadsheets.
It's important to have that information.
Yeah.
And wanting to know the why and how to put things together is always very important to me. So.
So, like, was there a moment in those early years working with GED, ESL, and youth challenge students?
Yes.
I was like, what was the moment where like you said this is something that I'm meant to do?
Literally, when I started at Job Corps, I knew it was the area for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed working with students. I always enjoyed working with students. I probably would have stayed an instructor in that realm completely. But married, family, children, bills, and mortgages, I decided I need to go. My wife kind of helped me out. And that's also having a partner. My wife played a pivotal role in my life.
Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody in their life that supports them. All
Absolutely.
Right? And you need somebody that gives you really good advice. All right. And sometimes it's advice you don't want to hear. And I think that's really important in a career. And same thing, I've done quite a little bit of work with the Higher Learning Commission as a peer reviewer and among other things. And I look at the HLC sort of as sort of almost like a marriage relay.
Yeah.
They're coming to institutions and they're telling people sometimes stuff they don't want to hear, but they need to hear.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
You need an outside voice. Sometimes you do what you want instead of what you really need to do. I'm not sure I answered your question.
No, yeah, for sure, yeah.
There, so.
No, I was like, yeah, you're good. I was just kind of wondering to know like that turning point of where it was just like, yeah, I think this is where I'm like from being in like those majors and stuff like that. Like I'm sure you didn't have like that mindset. It's like, oh, I want to be a government relations.
No, I mean no one
or
wakes
officer.
Up, no one wakes up and says they want to be in institutional research or
government
relations necessarily. But I like to see student success. I really like it when I see somebody else succeed.
Yeah,
I've always been pretty comfortable in my skin, but I really like to see somebody that they doubt themselves and they're not really confident.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden they pass a test, earn a degree,
for sure,
have a certificate, and all of a sudden they walk a little bit taller. They're a little more confident.
Yeah.
I've been in meetings, I've been in education for a while, and I've had students show up later on, and they're like in roles in society. Now they're leading.
Yeah,
that's it's kind of a real neat thing to see.
It's like, wow, I took part of that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you plant a lot of seeds in education.
That is awesome. We'll go into like another one about like your leadership evolution. You stepped into like the interim dean of technical education role, then quickly in interim VP of like operations, and then VP of operations. What prepared you for that leap? Like, what do you feel like that was that?
Well, I've changed jobs. The interim dean of technical education in Roswell. All right. I was a VOTEC person in Roswell, right? I love hands-on career tech education, that type of stuff. And I was prepared. I oversaw, I helped the automotive program gain ASA accreditation. I was familiar with certified nursing programs. I was familiar with, automotive, electrical wiring, and some other programs.
Yeah.
And some of that background and that experience, it helped me prepare for the vice president of operations. I was stepping out of my comfort zone in many ways. I spent basically 10 years, more than that, in pretty much data and academic side of the house.
Yeah.
The operations position was fundamentally a different position. I'm looking at large capital projects. I'm working with architects. I'm working with people that I'm in an area that's new to me. Yeah. But I think one of the things that helped me out is the experience that I gained along the way. The ability to communicate. The ability to listen to people.
Yeah.
And and talk to them and try to, de-escalate situations when they do become tense. I think that helped prepare me for these roles. I also had people that were in my corner.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody that's there, and hey, I can do this. The other piece, I remember turning down a role one time. And somebody, the person that offered me this role came over to me afterward, and this was 25 years ago. And this person, grabbed my shoulder. He goes, Todd, and this guy was from back east. He goes, when you're offered something, like this, just go for it. Even if you don't think somebody else thinks you can do it, you could have done it. Well, I did go into that same role about a year and a half later.
Yeah,
anyway,
but it just wasn't that time.
But yeah, it wasn't that time. But I probably should have gone. Sometimes the worst doubt that you can have is self-doubt.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot to a lot of people. They don't recognize their own abilities, and other people do. The other thing that I think's helped me out over the years is I think I'm fairly good at telling when people are being sincere, and that's helped me to kind of navigate rooms and navigate situations that are difficult.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, people are trying to do the best they can. But a lot of times employees don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're not purposely doing things incorrectly.
Right.
They don't know what their job is.
Exactly.
And they need somebody to work with them and train them. I truly believe people are good overall and want to do the best in education especially.
Yeah.
My wife's a K-12 teacher. She works very, very hard on a regular basis. And it's not just about the check. She connects with the students. I think she feels their pain.
Yeah.
But she also, when they complete something and they move on, I mean, she feels that she was rewarded herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. From your VP of operations position, what do you feel like was like the part of that role that stretched you the most?
Probably working with the submission processes for capital projects, the requisitions, the timing, the horizon on these projects. You're working on something that may not be finished for 5-7 years, and that's a different type of thing.
Yeah.
Not knowing some of the inside jargon. Every discipline, every area has their inside, their acronyms. And for example, the term CIP, an institutional research, means classification of instructional programs. Every program has a 4- and 6-digit number that determines that major.
Yeah.
But in the operations world, it's CIP is a capital improvement project.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, I mean, but there's all this type
It's
of
a little
language.
bit different, yeah.
The other one that stretched me, I did not realize when I moved into that role, okay, I kind of we take for granted in the United States that we flip a light, the lights come on, we flush a toilet, the toilet's flush, okay? The yard is mowed, a lot of other things. And in operations,
you're the one
I'm
doing
the
all
one.
that.
And HVAC was another area, all right? We have HVAC challenges everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a great field to go into, just
Really,
a phenomenal field. But you're having to monitor that, and I'm learning about, we were lacking some of the data either. We didn't have the systems to, I couldn't pull up on a computer and look at the temperature in a certain room. And having to learn to work with people that are technicians, that are specialists, and I don't have the specific knowledge myself, so you have to trust people that they're doing what is right.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had a
good team.
I had a good team of people. The other piece, I'm a really strong believer in professional development.
Yeah.
And I've just got back from a professional development activity, but the more you can, basically, if you train your people, get them out of their way, just get out of their way and show them a goal.
Yeah.
This is what I want. Don't try to tell them how to get there.
Right.
Okay. But tell them why you want it. Give them the training and the tools they need. and you'll be okay.
And they can succeed. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. So going into like your new chapter with government relations, what made you feel that this was like the right next step for you?
I was ready for a change. I've been in Roswell for 20 years in a variety of roles. As I mentioned, I've always enjoyed politics, and I've complained an awful lot about our government over the years. I really have, and I think in this role, I see it as an educational role. A lot of the time, our legislators, and we have a volunteer legislator, and one of the things I was proud to see during this legislative session and throughout the year when they attend hearings and all this, because these people are volunteers in this state.
Yeah.
They're not getting a check. They're getting per diem and stuff like that. But that's it. We have some people that work hard, all right, and that are really trying to do the best they can for the state. In this role, I thought I could, because of my background in institutional research and data, like one of the things that they have a tendency to complain about is, oh, the graduation rates aren't enough, or the retention rates are not enough. These are not like simple things sometimes to explain. When you're looking at retention rate, it's only looking at a small population of students. It's only looking at first time, full-time, degree-seeking students that start in the fall and then that come back for the following fall.
Yeah.
Okay? In today's world, we have continuing students, graduation, readmit students. There's so many students that don't count as a success. I would have counted as a failure. One of the people that leads one of our associations, okay, she wouldn't have been counted as a success as well. And I think in this role too, I kind of pride myself on being able to communicate one-on-one. And I like to talk in stories sometimes as well, and I like to use data. And I want to be able to try to shape some of the legislators' views on some things. Because in New Mexico, yes, we've got some struggles in higher education. I've also been involved in multiple associations. And at the same time, there's some wonderful pockets, because I'm tired of hearing, I'm just sick of hearing, you know, New Mexico's 50th in NAS, and child welfare we're last done, and we're last. But I think we're on a pivotal point in New Mexico's history in higher ed. I just got back from the Higher Learning Commission, and I think New Mexico may have had more presenters than any other state. I was just looking at, I think it was like 9 different schools from New Mexico were talking about stuff. In New Mexico, we have the Opportunity Scholarship.
Yeah.
Right? There's no other state that has something like that.
I know.
We've got child care going on right now, free for everyone. They're doing stuff with apprenticeships and internships, working with communities. We're supporting our career tech in this area. We're in a very, lucky spot. And in my government relations role, I hope I can kind of spread some of this good news and help on pushing the funding in certain areas that I feel is, not just I feel, because I truly believe in this role. Yes, I'm here, and I get a check from Eastern New Mexico University, but I'm not here just to support ENMU Roswell, and ENMU Ruidoso. I believe I'm here to support the citizens and the students in this area, and I really do want to raise all the boats. I want to see, I think, education too. There's such an unbelievable connection between education and your economy.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more entrepreneurship. I would like to see more business opportunities. I would like to see more doctors and healthcare. I want to improve the living conditions of people in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought I could do in this role, and that's one of the reasons why I took it. And so far, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And my goal is to improve. I've always been pretty self-reflective, and I'm going to be working on like a report right now. Like, okay, this is what we did successfully in this legislative year.
This is where we can improve. Yeah.
Here, all right. What are some things? Start, stop, or continue. What might we want to do different next year? And we did some great things, and there hasn't been someone on this campus in this role in a really long time. So I've been afforded the opportunity, thankfully, to kind of look at some things and think. I've been looking at a lot of programs, and just trying to figure out what I do, because I'm here to support others.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope to continue to do.
Yeah. What do you think caused them to like reopen that position to bring back the government relations officer?
That's an easy one for me to answer. The chancellor's, his system of vision and the vision for this area. We want to grow this area.
Yeah.
And that's part of what my position is. I'm going to look at grants. The other piece that I do in this position is I look at some policies. I'm looking at some other things, kind of the broad landscape of policy, state education, higher education affairs. And I provide some light analysis on some of this. I make suggestions. I look at ENMU strategic plan. But I think this role is pivotal into helping, grow this.
Yeah.
The other piece that I'd like to mention as well is I've had the pleasure of, meeting Port Tallis's mayor now. I've been working with the city manager as well. I want to see Port Tallis blossom. And I think we have the potential to have an incredible impact on eastern New Mexico.
Absolutely.
We really do.
Yeah. Do other schools have the government relations officers as well?
The four-year schools, the major schools, New Mexico Tech does, UNM, NMSU, Highlands. I think maybe one or two more may, but not all. Most of the two-year schools do not. A lot of the time it's the president does a lot of the advocacy, or the vice president for academic or student affairs.
Okay, cool. What impact do you hope your work will have on the university and the committees it serves?
As I said, I want things to blossom.
Yeah.
Right? Nutshell in this is I want the lives of children to be better.
Yeah.
All right. And if we educate parents, the lives of children will be better. There's an economic, effect of as you become more educated. One of the things you do learn is you learn how less you know. You really, I'm like, gee whiz, I thought I knew some stuff. No, you really don't.
Yeah.
There's so much that you don't. But I would like to see when you develop, as we develop majors and we have people graduating, I would like to see them continue in New Mexico.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of opportunity in this state right now. We have some brain drain going on for the last few years. Sometimes people will graduate and they run off to Texas. They'll run off to some other places. I would also like to, in this role, I hope to kind of grow families and strengthen families as well. New Mexico has one of the lower levels of bachelor's degree in states. I'm not sure what the percentage is anymore, 19-21% of the people. The other piece in this role that I hope to just help is I hope to bridge some of the cultural gaps and some of the things that I see. Chaves County, where I was from, Roswell, 1 out of 3 people in that county, their dinner time language is Spanish. All right, and if you're going home, you're in class all day learning in English. Then you're going home and switching into Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're going back into English again. I mean, it's a harder journey sometimes when you're in that role. I think that some of the things, the demographics and some of the characteristics in New Mexico that in the past may have been seen as weaknesses, they're actually strengths. All right, having a strong bilingual population is a wonderful thing. All right, it increases economic conditions. It improves like a lot of hiring. If you're bilingual, more likely the airlines will hire you. You're more likely to travel internationally if you speak, another foreign language because it makes you more comfortable. Also, if you speak another language, and especially if that's the language in the area, you understand what's going on in that community, and you realize people in the grocery line aren't talking about you at all.
Right.
And that's what happens is ignorance does breed fear.
Yeah.
And learning another language is one of these things that you learn a lot more about your first language by learning a second language.
Yeah. One more question before I get into the rapid fire readiness questions. What advice would you give students who want to work in policy, advocacy, or public service?
Get a degree.
Yeah.
Get a degree. For this, a lot of people that are in this field at the national level, they're attorneys. Okay, political science, PhD level people. That's, if you really want to go on that path. But the key is getting involved in stuff. For example, the Student Government Association, all right?
Yes.
It's absolutely one of these things. and Sir Justin didn't
Join
pay me
student
any money
government.
for that at all. But it's true.
Student government promo.
I mean, you start learning the basics, Robert's Rules of Order,
Yeah.
how meetings, quorums, attending things, get involved, vote. I literally have a copy of the Constitution that I carry in my briefcase. The Constitution, I think, is an incredible document.
Yeah.
All right? It's a short document. I encourage you to read that document. Take some, law classes or some other things as well. Also, I would love to set up possibly in the future, some internships here and have some students work with me. I would love to take students up to Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Because truly the legislators do not want to hear from me, but a student voice carries so much more weight than a faculty or a president or a vice president. Legislators truly want to hear from the people that are being helped.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so now getting into our rapid fire questions. What's a skill? What's a skill students think matter but actually doesn't for like college students?
Skill students think matter but actually doesn't. Oh, that's a tough question. I'm not sure.
Like, is there something that you feel like there's something that like students are like, oh, I need to make sure I have this done before I'm done with school, or this done for my career, but that really doesn't matter.
I mean, I think all skills are valuable
Yeah.
in some way. I think, if one thing I could tell any new student, talk to your professor.
Yeah.
Heaven's sakes, the first, I've had this conversation passionately with my son and daughter and others. Get to know your teacher, first week of class or the second week of class. Go visit them in their office and just say, hi, my name is Fred. I'm in your class. I want to do well. And if nothing else, you've met that person.
Yeah.
They know who you are and that you care.
Right. That
And
you're not just in here for
faculty want to
nothing.
help you out.
Yeah.
And they're not ogres. They're not these people that are horrible. A lot of them are new too. And sometimes they're uncertain, just like students are uncertain about things. But developing these relationships is incredibly important.
Yeah. That's good. What's one mindset shift students need to make before entering the workforce?
You're not going to leave here and get the corner office in the sky and take a management role necessarily. You may, okay?
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to. I've had a lot of I've had other jobs as well, all right? And it's important to have other jobs because it gains experience. I think one of the best things that you can learn is learn how to be a good follower. Everybody wants to be a leader.
Yeah.
Right? I think we should have follower training, okay, before you become a leader. A good follower will support their boss, okay? Not if they're doing something wrong,
Right.
but support them in making decisions, will help them. Also, take initiative. Holy
Absolutely.
moly, that's the most
Yeah,
important
for
thing.
sure.
If you see it's something that needs to be done,
Get it
do
done.
If you're not sure how to do something, ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions. I know this has been said repeatedly. There's no such thing as a stupid question, but it's so true. All right, and if somebody gives you an assignment and you're not sure what it is,
Ask questions.
seek help from
Yeah,
others.
for sure.
And your boss may not know.
Right.
Well, go online. We've got all kinds of sources that are
Right.
out there. Not to
For
mention
sure.
there's AI stuff.
AI, yes.
AI is there, but you've got to have some knowledge to
Exactly.
see if the AI is worthwhile.
Yeah. What's a professional habit that separates good employees from great ones?
Time management.
Time management.
Time management is time's the most important resource we have.
Yeah.
Money comes and goes. I can always make more money, but I've only been given so many days on this planet.
Yeah.
And being respectful of other people's times. And if you're late, you are hurting that person that had to wait for you.
Yeah.
All right. And saying sorry is just not enough. When you hurt somebody, it's like poking it
Right.
with a stick. All right. A sorry's pulling out the stick, but you still left an indentation or a hole.
Yeah.
All right. You've got to change your behavior. Being on time, being early, respecting, the practices of your boss. Yes, tossing out new ideas and things like that too. But sometimes they're making decisions, and you may not agree with their decision, but you may not know all the facts.
Yeah.
Nor should you know all the facts. They may be dealing with an HR situation. They may be dealing with other things behind the scenes that you're not aware of. And they may not be allowed to tell you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to say yes. And then maybe later on down the road, you will be rewarded for your, loyalty and help sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Going into another fast action question is, what is the easiest way for students to start building a professional network?
Joining societies, getting involved in student groups, getting involved in associations, asking people. I mean, the story with, I'm not sure if it's true, but I think it is, with Steve Jobs. He literally called Hewlett Packard at one time when he was like trying to figure something out. And that may have been Wozniak or something like that. But picking up and talking the phone, writing letters to people as well. While everybody loves to text, sometimes an old-fashioned email, I can't believe I'm saying old-fashioned email, is a good way to reach
Connect.
somebody, to ask them questions. Going to someone's office or area physically, too, is a good way to become involved. And just letting them know, hey, I'm really interested in this area. The other piece, just some simple stuff that we can do, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All right? For heaven's sakes, create a LinkedIn profile. It's a good place to store a resume.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they're getting out of college, they move around a little bit. That way you have a spot. It's a good way to connect as well. I don't know. Every discipline usually has an association. Find out more what that association is. That's some of the things that I've done this year. Is I've looked at certain groups that are, national government relation organizations and things like that. Start looking at the data that's behind the scene. Look at what's important to those people, and then make some of those things your priorities.
Yeah, that's good. And then last question, what's one networking myth you want to bust?
The networking myth that you want to bust. Oh my goodness. It's another one. Networking myth. It's about who you know, not what you know. Okay. While it's important who you know.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody may hire you for a position because they know you.
Right.
But you're not going to keep that position
Because
if
you
you
don't
don't
know
have the
anything.
knowledge to do it.
Yeah.
And in the long, you may cause more damage in the meantime.
Yeah.
But I think that's a myth that really that needs to be.
Yeah.
Yes, networking and getting to know people is important, but you got to have the skill set to do things. I know that
because you can set the whole company back
absolutely.
or something like that.
I know there's an large oil company. When they're hiring their engineers right now, they're hiring them in pairs because they know one of them may not work out because they may be great academically.
Yeah.
They may have passed all
resume
these
looks
tests,
good
but then
and
when they
everything.
get out in the field, they
They're
don't
not
have
prepared.
the skill set. They don't have the disposition to do the work that's needed. They may not be able to do the long hours because in certain positions too, it's not 9 to 5 clock in an air conditioned office.
You're still working after hours.
Some of the best jobs are the ones where you're different hours, maybe physically straining and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But they may have nice checks, and you may have a shorter, timeline that you have to work, and you can retire earlier.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Mr. Dekay, we thank you for joining me here for my first episode of Career Deep Dive. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys learned some new tips and tricks, and you can take them with you, for your career and your future journeys. Well, thank you again. Appreciate you.
Sir Justin, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.